I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think honestly about it. Have you ever caught yourself overanalyzing the smallest decisions, like picking an outfit, deciding what to eat, or whether to send a simple message? Maybe you've spent hours replaying old conversations or worrying about things that never even happened. If your answer is yes, then hang on till the end of the video because you're not alone. In this video, I'll tell you how you can break free from this habit of overthinking with practical tips and strategies. But before we get into solutions, let's get one thing straight. Overthinking is just a habit, but it's something you can improve. So, in order to break free from overthinking, you need to recognize the pattern first. Therefore, you need to learn how to tell the difference between overthinking and simply thinking. How can you tell if you're overthinking or just thinking? It's quite simple. There are 3 key factors that can help you decide. The first is the time factor. Ask yourself, how much time are you spending on this? If you're stuck in endless loops of the same thoughts without any progress, that's a clear sign of overthinking. But we'll dive deeper into managing your time effectively later in the video. The second factor is whether your thinking is moving you toward action. Is your thinking leading to action, or are you just spinning your wheels? Productive thinking helps you make decisions and move forward. Overthinking, on the other hand, keeps you stuck. For example, let's say you're working on a presentation. Thinking about the key points and how to structure them is productive. You're moving toward action. But if you find yourself stuck on thoughts like, what if they hate my idea? What if I forget my lines? And you can't move forward? That's classic overthinking. The third factor is the if-but mindset. If you only think about what-if scenarios without solutions, it can lead to overthinking. For instance, what if my project fails? Or what if I mess up? This kind of thinking pulls you into overthinking. However, if you also think, what if my business proposal gets rejected? You can think, if my business proposal gets rejected, I'll ask for feedback and refine my approach before submitting it again. Then, that's healthy thinking. Adding solutions with your ifs helps you avoid overthinking. Now that you've learned how to recognize the patterns of overthinking, let's move on to some practical tips and strategies to overcome it. Number 1, focus on what matters. To truly eliminate overthinking, you must develop a mindset where trivial things don't bother you anymore. Focus only on what genuinely matters to you and what is within your control. Everything else, it shouldn't concern you. For instance, what others think about you, your height, why the world is so unfair. These are things that are out of your control. Next time you find yourself stuck in overthinking or worrying about such things, tell yourself in your mind, screw it, and move on. Now, you might wonder why we're suggesting you think like this, considering the phrase might seem inappropriate, but there's a scientific and psychological reason behind it, known as disrupting the pattern. Overthinking often traps you in a loop where you keep circling around the same thoughts endlessly. Saying something shocking like, screw it, alerts your brain, breaks that loop, and stops the overthinking cycle.
Learn to say to the world every once in a while. You have every right to. Just stop thinking, worrying, looking over your shoulder, wondering, doubting, fearing, hurting, hoping for some easy way out. Stop it and just do.
Take a piece of paper and write down everything you overthink about. Then, under each item, ask yourself, is this situation 100% under my control? You'll notice that most of these things are not within your control, and only a few are. For the things beyond your control, stop worrying about them. Instead, focus on what you can control. Ask yourself, will the issue you're obsessing over right now matter in the next 5 or 10 years? If the answer is no, then just say, screw it, and let it go. If you find yourself in a problem, give yourself only 2 choices. Either solve it or forget about it. Don't let yourself dwell on it. Don't sit with that worry. Push your concerns to later or not at all. Once you start narrowing your focus to what truly matters, it's also essential to find a way to manage when worry tries to creep in. Here come the tip number 2, postponement of worry. Postponement, as the name suggests, means delaying your worries until a designated time. Just like everything has its time, constantly thinking about something is not always the best approach. You need to set a specific time daily to think about your problems or find solutions, like 30 minutes to an hour. During this time, you can focus on resolving your thoughts rather than letting them run wild all day. For example, If a thought troubles you at a random moment, tell yourself, I'll think about this in the evening. This helps you focus on what's important right now. By the time your scheduled worry time arrives, you might realize the thought wasn't as important as you initially felt, or you'll approach it with a clearer mind. Sometimes, the issue might no longer seem significant, or you might have already forgotten about it. This practice shifts you from constant overthinking to limited, structured thinking within a specific period. Since the time is limited, you'll naturally focus on what truly matters. Plus, it allows you to give your undivided attention to other activities without overthinking about the past or future. Replace overthinking with sufficient thinking. To break free from the overthinking cycle, you can't simply stop it on the spot. Instead, you need to replace it with a more effective and balanced approach, which is by replacing your habit of overthinking with sufficient thinking.
Interesting thing about thinking is it's very hard to control our spontaneous thoughts. So for instance, I can't prevent myself from thinking something. However, I can deliberately introduce a thought. People forget this, that one of our enormous powers as human beings is I'm gonna write out my name, I am Andrew, or I can think I am Andrew. Now it takes a little bit of work, you kind of notice, to think something specific, like you would write it out in your head, just as you would write it out on paper. It feels like a little bit of work because it is work. You're taking that spontaneous thought process and you're inserting a thought on top of it.
Now, what does sufficient thinking even mean? Simply put, it means thinking just enough, no more, no less. It's not about stopping your thoughts entirely, which is impossible and unnatural. After all, thinking is what makes us human. It's about aligning your thinking with the importance of the matter at hand. For example, choosing between an apple and an orange shouldn't take you 30 minutes of research and YouTube videos on their benefits. That's overthinking. But if you're making a major life decision, like choosing a career path, saying, I'll just think less and act fast, isn't right either. You need to give it the time it deserves. The trick is finding a balance, figuring out how much thought a decision actually requires. For small, trivial matters, don't overanalyze. But for bigger decisions, take your time, but don't get stuck in an endless loop of what ifs. Live in the present. Imagine you have an important exam in a few weeks, and instead of studying, you keep thinking about why you didn't start earlier, or worry about what might happen if you fail. This overthinking wastes even more of your precious time. Ask yourself, will overthinking about the past or future make my exam go well? Obviously not. The only solution is to focus on studying now, making the most of the remaining time. This principle doesn't just apply to exams, it works for any problem in life. Most people ruin their present by obsessing over the past or future. Whenever you find yourself overthinking, ask yourself, what can I do right now to solve this? Whether it's preparing for an exam or resolving a conflict by talking to someone, your actions will lead you to solutions, not your endless thoughts. Focus on solution-based thinking rather than problem-based thinking. If all you do is dwell on problems, you amplify them. Shift your mindset toward solutions instead. But don't get so absorbed in planning and strategizing that you fail to act. Ultimately, life's problems will never end, and no solution is 100% perfect. So focus on what's in your control and let go of what isn't. To balance solution-based and problem-based thinking, try techniques like brain dumping. Write everything down instead of juggling it in your head, and take action one step at a time. Meditate to train your mind. And yes, meditation helps. Start with 5-10 minutes daily, focusing on your breath. It's hard at first, but consistency and patience will make it easier. It trains your mind to stay calm and focused, reducing overthinking naturally. By practicing these steps, designated thinking time, solution-based focus, brain dumping, and meditation, you'll gradually master the art of sufficient thinking and break free from the cycle of overthinking. Stay busy. You've probably heard the saying, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Overthinking often begins when you're not actively engaged in life. If you don't take action and spend all your time just thinking, overthinking becomes your habit. Here's what you should do. Schedule your thinking time, just like any other task. Keep yourself busy with activities that matter to you. Create a daily routine that leaves no room for idle overthinking. Being action-oriented means thinking only when necessary, not excessively. And that's how you can start breaking free from overthinking and take back control. But here's the thing. Overcoming overthinking isn't just about managing your thoughts. It's about how you manage your mindset, emotions, and habits. Therefore, in the next video, we're going to talk about how resetting your dopamine levels can change your mindset, boost your focus. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.